planning to buy an adventure motorcycle, you will be spoiled for choices. And if you're planning to buy the KTM 390 Adventure, there is a lot of confusion because there are now 3 variants on sale. What we are riding today is the Adventure X, which recently got updated and is also the most affordable variant. So how is the real world performance of this motorcycle? Is it good for touring? Is it comfortable? What's the mileage? As you can see, there are a lot of questions. So let's find the answers. So as I mentioned before, the updated version of the 390 Adventure X gets 3 riding modes. More importantly, now it gets the off-road mode, which means this motorcycle is more quicker. Second aspect is that it gets cruise control. There is cornering ABS and cornering traction control. So the basic version of the 390 Adventure isn't very basic. Now talking about city performance, I think this is the weak link of the motorcycle because it feels very temperamental at city speeds. The lack of low end torque means you have to hustle this motorcycle a bit when you want to ride at city speeds between 10 to 30 kmph. Also, because of the lack of low end torque, you have to constantly change gears because the motorcycle feels a bit temperamental at those speeds. You have to keep between first and second gear, and even the engine feels a bit knocky and edgy on those speeds. So in terms of a city motorcycle, I think that is a bit of a weak link for the 390 Adventure. I'm not saying it's a bad motorcycle, it's just that you are constantly busy and you don't feel relaxed on this motorcycle. Talking about the gearbox, the 6-speed gearbox offers very good gear shift qualities, and the quick shifter also worked on most of the occasions. So yeah, the clutch action is light, which makes city riding a bit less tedious compared to the other motorcycle, and also the weight of the motorcycle is low. But once you hit the highway, this is where the KTM 390 Adventure comes into its own element. It feels fast, it feels snappy, and it is properly enjoyable on the highway. The acceleration is very quick and very brisk. And when you want to do speeds, it can do speeds also, 120, 130 kph. Very effortless, but vibrations start creeping it above 110 kilometers per hour. So in terms of cruising, the 390 Adventure X feels most relaxed between 100 to 110 kmph. After that, the vibrations kick in. You can feel it on the foot pegs, you can feel it on the seat. The vibration isn't very intense, but it is buzzy, so you do feel that vibration. So in terms of refinement, it is not the most refined engine out there, but it has that KTM DNA, which is fast, fun and engaging. So in terms of a touring motorcycle, the 390 Adventure X does a very good job. Even the high-speed stability is very nice, feels very rock solid. The windscreen also helps with buffeting, so when you're doing speeds above 100 kph, you don't feel tired. And in terms of touring, I think the 390 Adventure is right up there. Also, it gets cruise control, which also helps you in the cruising speeds because once you lock it in, you can relax and ride this motorcycle for long hours. And talking about fuel efficiency, it returned us between 24 to 26 kilometers per liter with a 14.5 liter fuel tank. You're looking at a range of 360 kilometers, which again is very good for touring in my opinion. And talking about off-road performance, the 390 Adventure X isn't a hardcore off-roader because it gets alloy wheels. 19-17-inch wheel setup is more suited for touring than off-road riding. Yes, it can handle the trails. It has a mode where you can switch off the rear ABS, you can switch off the traction control if you want to slide the motorcycle and have some fun. Even the stand-up riding posture is decent, it's not bad. But again, as I mentioned, not a hardcore off-roader. If you want a proper off-roader, then the 390 Adventure S or the R version is the right version for you. But in terms of touring, I think it does a great job as a tourer. City, as I mentioned, it feels a bit finicky. Not that bad. It has that KTM DNA of snappy acceleration. It's just that the engine just feels a bit temperamental. But in terms of a tourer, it is properly solid. On the design front, the KTM 390 Adventure isn't going to win any beauty contest. But when it comes to sheer presence, the bike has an imposing stance. The tall windscreen, vertically stacked headlights, and the race mudguard give it a Dakar bike vibe. As you move forward, the bike slims down and everything is about function over form. The fuel tank is made of metal and the slim single seat flows well into it. The tail section is petite and even the exhaust muffler is an underbelly unit. So as you can see, everything is tightly packaged. On the features front, you get a crisp TFT instrument console with 2 different layouts. With this update, the Adventure X gets goodies such as multiple riding modes, cornering ABS, cornering traction control, cruise control, quick shifter, and a USB charger. So with respect to features, the KTM ADV comes well loaded. So let's check out the ergonomics of the KTM 390 Adventure X. First up, the seat height. The seat height is on the taller side at 825 mm. So I am 5 feet 10 tall. I am able to flat foot. I weigh around 100 kg. My weight also helps because it kind of compresses the suspension. So for me, the seat height is not an issue. Also, the profile of the seat is narrow. This also helps in terms of the seat height. Having said that, for riders under 5 feet 8, the seat height could be feeling on the taller end. Having said that, I don't think so seat height should matter because this is an adventure motorcycle. And if you're able to flat foot one leg also, it should be fine when you're riding this motorcycle in city to the traffic. So yeah, the seat height is slightly high, but that's fine because again, it's an adventure motorcycle. Second thing is the riding posture. You get a nice wide handlebar. The foot peg position is center set. So as you can see, when you sit on the motorcycle, it is very upright, the riding posture, and very comfortable, which is very crucial when you are touring. And talking about the seat for the rider is decent in terms of the width and the space for the rider. But long hour touring on this seat will not be that comfortable because I think it's a bit too narrow and even the foam is a bit too soft. And talking about the pillion, as you can see, there is hardly any space for the pillion rider. The seat is also very narrow. So this is more suited for single riding than two-up riding. If you want to do two-up riding, I think the Himalayan 450 is your best bet in terms of comfort for the pillion rider. That is the best motorcycle in its segment. One more aspect where the 390 Adventure X really feels good is the weight. At 181 kg, it is pretty lightweight. So if you want to park this motorcycle or move this motorcycle around in the parking lot or when you're on the trails, the low weight of the motorcycle is very helpful, and it also makes riding this motorcycle feel a bit easier. So even if you're on the shorter end, I think because of the weight, it feels a bit more manageable. And that's the ergonomics and the comfort aspect of the 390 Adventure X. The thrilling performance in a straight line continues when you encounter some bends on the Adventure X. The bike leans into corners effortlessly and you can carry some great corner speeds. The above is down to the brilliant balance of the chassis, and even in the city, the handling is very nimble and it feels like a jacked up KTM 390 Duke. So filtering through tight gaps and taking U-turns are effortless. Despite getting a long travel suspension, the ride quality feels a bit on the firmer side as the rear suspension has a tendency to bottom out. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the ride quality is firm, but it isn't as plush as the TVS Apache RTX or even the Himalayan 450. So on broken roads, it is fine, but over potholes and big speed breakers, you will have to slow down a bit. Braking is another domain where the bike disappoints as a front brake lacks bite or proper feedback. The weak stopping power could be down to the organic brake pads. My recommendation will be to switch to sintered pads in the first service itself. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is the most affordable variant of the 390 Adventure. 3,28,000 rupees ex-showroom. The top end variant is at 3,97,000 rupees ex-showroom. So you can see the price gap is a lot. So which variant should you go for in the 390 Adventure family? If you want a motorcycle just for touring and for your city commutes, I think the Adventure X offers you great value and great performance. But if you want something which is a hardcore off-roader, I think you should definitely go for the 390 Adventure S or the R version because they are the best off-road motorcycles in the respective segment. Now coming back to the 390 Adventure X. Talking about positives, I think the performance of this engine, the 390 engine, just feels so nice, so peppy. On the highway, this motorcycle just goes. Speeds around 130, 140 kmph can be done very easily. Feels rock solid at those speeds. And even the acceleration of this motorcycle is snappy. The handling dynamics also has that KTM DNA going for it. Feels very agile, feels very nimble, and feels very involving to ride. For an adventure tourer, the handling dynamics is just superb. And with the update, the electronic goodies on this motorcycle is making it right up there in its segment. I think for a touring motorcycle, the 390 Adventure X does a good job. Now coming to the negatives, first up for me is the ride quality. The ride quality of this motorcycle isn't the most. Best out there, the 390 Adventure S has long travel suspension. The ride quality on that motorcycle feels better. You can also say the Himalayan 450 and the Apache RTX offers a better ride quality. Second thing is the rider seat. The rider seat is a bit narrow. This isn't the most comfortable seat out there. Yes, you can do touring, but yeah, it will be a compromise touring. The pillion seat, in my opinion, is almost useless. If you want to do two-up riding, go for the Himalayan 450. There is no question in that segment. And the second thing is the engine vibrations. At city speeds, the motorcycle feels a bit temperamental. At high speed, you feel that buzz, but that is something that you can live with. So among the three variants, this is the most perfect for touring. Yes, there are few compromises that you have to do, and even in respect to pricing, the prices have gone up. Again, GST is to be blamed, not KTM. So if you want a touring motorcycle which is fast, which is engaging, I think the 390 Adventure X is a good choice for you.